vast expanse of our cosmos, there is a thin, fragile line where biology ends and magic begins. We often perceive life as static, but look closer. Here, energy does not merely flow through veins. It is fire. It is lightning. It is the raw fury of a storm compressed into flesh and blood. And the most extraordinary spectacle is the moment they shatter their own limits. We call it evolution. 100 species, 100 miracles of creation. And welcome to the greatest library of life, real-life Pokémon. 3 miles beneath the Earth's crust, the pressure here is enough to crush bone. But for the Onyx, this is a crucible. After a century of absorbing metal and enduring geothermal heat, its rocky body begins to change. The carbon structure compresses, stone turns to steel. This is no longer a rock monster. It is Steelix. Above ground, the battle for survival is sometimes a partnership. This little turtwig does not hunt, it seeks the light. When the sprout on its head takes a deep root into its nervous system, it shares nutrients with the host. The body expands, solidifying to support its own private forest. Now, as a grottle, it is never alone. The desert has no mercy for the weak. This small Skorupi knows that camouflage is not enough. It needs absolute brute force. It buries itself in the scorching sand to perform a most painful ritual, shedding its agility in exchange for impenetrable armor. Drapion, a biological tank, with claws that can tear through scrap metal. It no longer needs to hide in the shadows. Older than human history, for millennia it sleeps camouflaged as a lifeless snow mountain. But when the celestial spheres align, ancient circuits reboot. The warning lights on its body only ignite one by one. Regigigas, the king of titans. Legends. This fragile Amora calls for its mother, a cry echoing in solitude. But when the aurora borealis appears, true magic happens. The crystal cells on its skin absorb cosmic light, refracting it into pure energy. In this pitch-black cavern, eyes are useless. This little Neubot navigates the world entirely by sound. But to become the ruler of the night sky, it must amplify its voice. As the jaw muscles develop with immense power, the ears transform into giant biological speakers. When the storm hits, every creature seeks shelter. Except one. Its body does not generate electricity, it must steal it. It charges straight into the heart of the tempest to catch the fury of nature. Zera Aura. With energy borrowed from the sky, it moves so fast that the naked eye sees only the afterimage. Lucario. Muscle power has limits, but the will does not. The Riolu is a blind warrior. It trains not by sight, but by feeling. When the connection between mind and body reaches perfection, the sensory receptors behind its head burst open. Lucario. It sees what we cannot. Emotions, fear, and the very soul of living things. Evolution is sometimes a tragedy. Dano is born blind, biting at everything just to understand its world. The civil war between its brains ends in a brutal fusion. Legs wither away, making room for tattered wings and 3 heads existing in chaos. Hydro-acoustic, a flying machine of destruction. When 3 heads agree on a single target, nothing survives. Skarmory, nesting in sharp iron thorn bushes. These chicks face a harsh childhood. Soft flesh cannot survive here. Through years of friction and tempering, their feathers are gradually replaced by hollow alloy plates. Skarmory, a fighter jet of the natural world. It flies at 300 miles an hour, slicing through the air and anything else in its way. Bisharp. In the world of the pawnyard, rank is decided by sharpness. Young soldiers grind their bodies against stone every day, preparing for war. Only the victors are allowed to evolve. After countless battles, the blade does not dull, but grows longer.
The enemy!
Surfetched. This duck carries a leek, not for food but for battle. But the leek is fragile. Through years of tempering, that vegetable matter fossilizes. Alalan vulpix. Their ancestors were firefoxes, but when migrating to these eternal snowy peaks, the flame in their hearts was forced to die. To survive, the body learned to exhale breath at -50 degrees Celsius. The fiery red coat turned snow white, blending perfectly into the blizzard. Espion, Eve. The creature with the most unstable genome on the planet. When it bathes in the midday sun, a strange chemical reaction begins. A sensory gem grows on its forehead, acting as a third eye. Espion. It does not read minds. It reads air currents. It knows what the opponent will do. Absol. It always appears before a disaster strikes, so people call it the harbinger of doom. But they are wrong. That scythe-like horn is actually a sensitive meteorological organ. It feels the slightest change in atmospheric pressure. Absol, not a grim reaper. It is a guardian angel, trying to warn us even if no one listens. Rock Midnight. Rockruff is a loyal dog, but there is a curse in its blood. If evolution occurs under a full moon, lunar energy stimulates aggression. Bone structure shifts to stand on 2 legs. Innocence vanishes. Only the killer instinct remains. Rock Midnight form. It listens to no commands. It listens only to the call of the blood. Rock Dusk. But there is a phenomenon even rarer. The brief moment where day meets night. The green flash of twilight. This transformation is neither frantic nor passive. It retains the loyalty of a dog and the sharpness of a wolf. Rock Dusk form. Perfect balance, a companion. With the heart of a warrior. Gengar. Starting as a formless cloud of toxic gas, ghastly. It drifts, seeking the warmth of life to survive, but when the gas density compresses to the extreme, it changes its state of matter, from gas to solid, shadow-given form. Gengar. It no longer floats. It hides in your shadow, waiting for the right moment to smile. Glaceon. To survive near the legendary ice rock, Eevee's warm fur is useless. It needs to lower its body temperature to near absolute zero. It freezes the moisture in the air, creating an invisible diamond armor around its body. Glaceon. Do not let this beauty deceive you. It can freeze the blood in your veins. Leafon. In the deep ancient forests where sunlight dances upon the moss. Evolution is not always about claws and fangs. For Eevee, it is a journey into harmony. Slowly, animal cells yield to plant cells. It no longer needs to hunt. It simply lies still and drinks the sunlight. Feraligator. Beneath the murky surface of the river, a struggle for survival is taking place. The crocodile is outmatched, pinned by a superior predator. But under extreme stress, the reptile's body triggers a violent chemical reaction. Adrenaline surges, scales crack open as muscles expand with terrifying speed. The claws lengthen into scimitars. This is not just growth, it is an explosion of rage. Feraligator. The victim becomes the tyrant, and the hunter becomes the prey. Mamoswine. The blizzard buries everything. For the piloswine trapped in the whiteout, this should be the end. But deep within its genetic code, a memory from the Ice Age awakens. The ancient power. The thick fur trembles. Massive tusks of solid ice erupt from its jaw, shattering the frost. It rises, shaking off the mountain of snow like dust. Mamoswine. The living tank of the frozen epoch has returned. Cofagrigus. In the gloom of the forgotten catacombs, a Yamask drifts, seeking a shell. It finds a golden sarcophagus, a relic of a lost time. It is drawn in, not by greed, but by a need for protection. The spirit merges with the gold. Cofagrigus, a golden curse, waiting for a touch. Or Scolipede. Defense is failing. The curled whirlipede is trapped. To survive the avian predator above Oaks, it must change tactics. The shell fractures. It painfully unfurls, straightening its spine against gravity. Legs sharpen into spears. It rises higher and higher. Scolipede, from a rolling ball to a towering siege engine. Now it looks down on its enemy and prepares to fire. 25. Tyranitar. Inside the rocky shell of the Pupitar, the pressure has reached a critical point. Steam vents scream. It can no longer contain the power within. The shell detonates from the cloud of dust and debris. A hand of green armor claws at the earth. Tyranitar stands. It does not fear the sandstorm. It summons it. The mountain god has arrived. Alolan Raichu. On these sun-drenched islands, a unique diet of sweet nectar has altered the Pikachu's biology. The electricity in its cheeks changes frequency, softening into psychic energy. Look closely. It is defying gravity. The tail expands, becoming a surfboard for the mind. Alolan Raichu. Why run on the hot sand when you can ride the invisible currents of the air? 27. Absolute zero, a temperature where life should cease, yet Laylee thrives here. It has shed its body, becoming a floating skull of unmelting ice. It preserves itself in a frozen stasis, a hungry void drifting through the whiteout. See. Toxicroak. In the toxic swamps, a brawl is never fair. Toxicroak is a martial artist who cheats. Beneath those knuckles lies a biological syringe. A single graze, a mere scratch, pumps enough neurotoxin to fell a giant. It fights with a smile, for it knows the battle is already won. Corviknight. Forged in the heart of the storm, this bird does not seek shelter from the lightning, it feeds on it. Over centuries, its feathers have calcified into plates of black steel. The Corviknight, a flying fortress that reflects the fury of the skies. Xerneas. And then there is the lifebringer. After a millennium of sleep, the tree blooms. Xerneas is not merely a creature, it is the heartbeat of the forest. Where it steps, flowers erupt from barren rock. It is the promise that winter will always turn to spring. Staraptor. Headwinds are not an obstacle, they are fuel. The body transforms to slice through the atmosphere. The crest sweeps back. The wings become razor blades. A living arrow, flying at impossible speeds. Garchomp. The scorching desert creates true monsters, but this one craves the sky. Fins evolve into jet wings. The head reshapes to tear the wind. Garchomp. A land shark? No, it is a supersonic nightmare. "33. Crobat. Sometimes evolution is about refinement. Clumsy wings split into 4, smooth, rhythmic. Crobat moves in absolute silence. You will not hear it coming until it is too late. "34. Chandelure. In the pitch-black caverns, light is a deadly invitation. It mimics the harmless, glowing crystals of the cave. Beautiful, shimmering. But that purple flame offers no warmth. It burns the spirit. Either 35. Infernape. On the volcanic rim, only the strongest may rule. Fire does not consume it, it flows through its veins. Gold armor erupts, a crown of flame ignites. Indifferent, the combat deity of the lava flow. "37. The supercomputer magnetic fields hold the world in balance as a fusion begins. 2 become 1, and 1 becomes a neural network beyond human reach. 4 brains interlocked, a biological machine processing the infinite. Through a digital HUD, the enemy is nothing but raw data analyzed in milliseconds. He tucks his limbs, hovering like a silent UFO. A meteor mash launched with absolute mathematical certainty. "38. The land creator magma boils in the throat of the world. The earth fractures and Groudon rises from the liquid fire. His crimson hide radiates a heat so intense, the waters vanish into steam. Under primal reversion, ancient veins ignite with the glow of the core. He takes a single step and new land erupts beneath his feet. The precipice blades forge in the ground." 39. The sea basin. The horizon disappears under a wall of black clouds and churning tides. A massive shadow glides beneath the surface, a king of the abyss. Kyogre breaches the sky, wings wide enough to eclipse the sun. As the alpha marks glow, the heavens collapse. The roar brings a deluge, a rain that never ends. The Iron Wall. It begins with the sound of grinding steel, a hunger for the tracks of the world. From iron to armor, Agron stands as a fortress for the pack. A mountain falls and shatters against a skull that knows no scars. His metal plating reflects the sun, a mirror of absolute defense. Yet this titan has a gardener's soul, mending the earth and nurturing the green amidst the ruins. "41. The Jet Dragon. To own the stratosphere, the flesh must evolve. Latios abandons the earth, tucking his limbs into a frame of pure efficiency. His body morphs, skin and down compressing into a seamless aerodynamic hull. The wings lock, angling to slice through the gale. A sonic boom shatters the clouds, a white ring of power in his wake. Through his eyes, the world is a blur of blue and white. 42. The Mistwalker. Latias glides over the glass of the lake, a perfect reflection in the water. Then the vibration begins, a high-frequency hum in her feathers. Light bends, reality warps, and she vanishes into the light. Only the parting ripples of the water betray her path, a ghost moving through the Swangmu. 43. The Fossil Mistake. In the bubbling dark, the bones of a dragon and the head of an ancient fish meet in a chaotic embrace. Strange energy surges, forcing the flesh to regrow where it doesn't belong. A head fused to a tail, a biological glitch. He wakes in a panic, gills gasping, legs moving in a clumsy, broken rhythm. "44. Within the crystal deep, the energy of the ancients begins to coil. Dragonfire swirls into a single point, condensing, hardening, turning into matter. A crimson sphere emerges, marked by the glowing patterns of the blind. Regidrago is not flesh and bone, he is a ticking bomb of primal power. 45. The Sun Moth. Inside a temple of light, the fire begins to weave a cocoon. Larvesta burns within his own pyre, incubating in a haze of ash. The shell cracks. 6 wings of brilliant orange unfurl, scattering embers like falling stars. Volcarona takes flight, the heat from his wings blurring the very air. "46. The Forest of Giants hides a deceptive hunter. Breloom's body is a masterpiece of fungal engineering, built like a high-tension spring. What looks like a short reach is a lethal illusion. Its cells can expand with the violence of a gunshot. Before the opponent can breathe, the arm stretches 3 times its length, delivering a mock punch that shatters the air. 47. Sawsbuck does not live through the seasons. It carries them. Its antlers are a living stage for the passage of time. In a single walk, cherry blossoms wither into lush summer greens, only to bleed into the crimsons of autumn before freezing into the silver of winter. "48. To Dialga, time is not a sequence but a landscape. Standing at the peak of existence, the diamond at its chest beats with the rhythm of the universe. With a single roar, the flow of reality stutters. Water freezes in mid-air, only to rush backward into the sky. A flower experiences a lifetime in a second, blooming and decaying in the same breath. 49 Vaporeon has achieved the impossible, the bridge between solid and liquid. It adapts to the deep with the growth of gills and fins, but its true power is molecular. Its body dissolves its cells, liquefying until they are indistinguishable from the lake itself. Jolteon is a bundle of raw, exposed nerves and high-voltage tension. Every hair on its body is a needle, sharpened by the static of the coming storm. It doesn't move across the grass. It teleports in a zigzag of yellow light. Its emotions are measured in volts, and its speed is a blur that leaves scorched earth in its path. It is a lightning bolt given 4 legs. Don't blink or the strike will have already passed you by. The jungle ninja Skeptile carries the very essence of the forest upon its back. The golden seeds on its spine act as organic batteries fueling bursts of explosive energy. While the razor-edged leaves on its forearms transform it into a silent, lethal phantom of the canopy. The Hive alien. An invasive predator from beyond the stars. Naganadel lacks individual identity, operating instead as a unified swarm. Its body is a living syringe, specialized for the high-velocity injection of glowing trans-dimensional toxins. The mud monster Swampert's vision may be blurred by the silt of the marsh, but its hydraulic strength is absolute. Driven by massive muscle hypertrophy, it can tow wreckage through thick mire with the ease of a machine, ruling the swamp through raw power. The red flash. Trading the sharpness of the blade for the crushing force of the vice. Caesar is a war machine encased in a crimson alloy, its pincers capable of grinding concrete into dust. Despite its heavy plating, it moves with a speed that leaves only a red blur in its wake. The ugly duckling from the most discarded creature to a masterpiece of evolution. Melodic is nature's apology for the Phoebus. Its presence is so harmonious that its shimmering scales and melodic movements can quell the most violent storms in the hearts of others. '56. The Ghost Bomber Dragapult is a living stealth carrier that raises its young through the thrill of velocity. The Dreepy within its horns do not fear the launch. '57. The Emperor Empoleon does not simply swim, it carves through the ocean like a blade. Driven by an unbreakable royal pride, it refuses to bow its trident-crowned head to any foe, using its steel-edged wings to dictate the law of the frozen seas. '58. The deep guardian Lugia dwells where the boundary between sky and sea dissolves into darkness. Its wings are so powerful that a single beat can reshape the atmosphere, possessing the strength to command storms that could submerge the world for 40 days and nights. '59. The Truth Engine. An eternal engine fueled by the search for truth. When Reshiram's tail turbine ignites, the atmosphere itself begins to boil. It is a creature of searing elegance, altering the very climate of the world to match its burning will. '60. The genetic base. Eevee is a biological question with 1,000 possible answers. Its DNA is a masterpiece of instability, soft clay waiting for the touch of destiny to mold it into a form that suits the changing world. '61. The volcano badger Typhlosion hides a cataclysmic temper behind a mask of calm. When pushed to the edge, it erupts into a localized sun, a collar of explosions turning the air into a shimmering heat haze that reduces all obstacles to ash. '62. The Nightmare. Darkrai leaves the flesh untouched, choosing instead to feast upon the psyche. It is the liquid shadow beneath the bed, the personification of primal fear that drags the mind into a lightless abyss where dreams become eternal traps. '63. The Cell Assembly. When the balance of nature falters, Zygarde assembles. It is not a single living being, but a planetary immune system composed of thousands of individual cells, merging into a unified sentinel to enforce the equilibrium of the Earth. '64. The blockade. Snorlax is not a creature of sloth, but a mountain of hyper-efficient energy storage. It exists in a state of maximum conservation, a massive physical barrier where nature takes root upon its skin, blocking all paths with its unmoving bulk. '65. The reverse world. On the far side of the mirror lies the domain of Giratina, a realm where gravity is broken and silence screams. It is the king of antimatter, a shadow that tears through the fabric of reality to watch our world from the cracks in the glass. '66. The psychic womb. An accident of nature or the next terrifying step in evolution? Mewtwo awakens in solitude, born from ancient genes and raw geological energy. Its mind is a weapon of such magnitude that it can choke the world without lifting a finger. '67. The living cannon. Blastoise has calcified its survival into heavy weaponry. Its shell is no longer just a shield, but a turret housing organic cannons. These bone-like pipes fire water at pressures high enough to slice through the toughest steel. '68. The walking jungle. Venusaur is a mobile ecosystem, a symbiotic union of animal and flora. The scent of its massive blooming flower is a narcotic piece capable of calming the most savage beasts, while its presence accelerates the growth of the very forest it walks through. '69. The frozen husk Curum is the hollow remains of a once great dragon, an empty vessel existing in a state of perpetual sub-zero pain. It wanders the frozen chasm, desperately trying to fill the void within its soul with the warmth of the life it consumes. '70. The siren. Primarina's voice is a lethal instrument that commands the very molecules of water. Her song is a beautiful symphony of hydro-acoustics. Where every shimmering bubble floating in the moonlight is a liquid bomb waiting for the final note. '71. The clanging scales. It begins with the strike of a young apprentice against the canyon walls, a journey of hardening until every inch is draped in gold. Komodo is a masterpiece of armored scales clashing together with a metallic roar as he moves. 72. The space render, the stars fracture like broken glass as a god steps through the cracks of existence. Palkia emerges, the pearls upon its shoulders glowing with the light of 1,000 galaxies. With a single swing of its arm, the fabric of reality tears. 73. The haunted sword. In the rusted silence of an ancient battlefield, a shield stands forgotten in the dirt, but the silk arms feel the pulse of life nearby. Aegislash unsheathes, revealing a blade of cold, gleaming steel and eyes that burn with a hateful violet light. It slices through the air, leaving a void of shadows in its wake. '74. The Oblivious. The river screams, a chaotic torrent of debris and white water. Yet in the center of the storm, Quagsire stands as still as a stone, eyes wide and empty. His skin is so slick, so perfectly indifferent, that the world's violence simply slides off him. 75. The rare mutation. Among a sea of blue, a single spark of magenta breaks the monotony. It is a biological glitch, a 1 in a million error that resulted in a masterpiece. 76. The moving continent. The earth shudders as a forest begins to breathe. What looks like a hill is the mossy shell of Torterra, a living mountain carrying an entire ecosystem. As he drinks, the forest on his back tilts with him. He is a patient fortress, guarding the life he carries with every tectonic step. 77. The Rain Dragon. Gudra emerges from the downpour, his skin drinking the storm. He shakes off a cascade of protective mucus that glitters like liquid glass. Though he looks kind, he strikes with high-speed fluid power, a heavy hitter born from the heart of the rainforest. 78. The Heel Wrestler. The fire grows from a spark to a roar. Incineroar stands tall, his collar igniting into a belt of living flame. He snarls at the dirt, a gesture of pure defiance before spinning into a darkest lariat, a cyclone of muscle and heat that turns the arena into a furnace. 79. The desert spirit Flygon soars into the heart of the sandstorm. His wings beat with a rhythmic hum, creating the singing sand of the dunes. He is the ghost of the desert, navigating the chaos with aerodynamic grace. '80. The King's Shield. Aegislash senses danger and instantly locks into his crest. A massive boulder shatters against the unyielding steel, leaving the blade untouched. A golden energy lattice pulses outward, the King's Shield, an absolute sanctuary that no force can breach. 81. The Thunder Generator. The sky turns to ink as Zekrom's tail turbine begins to spin. Friction ignites a brilliant blue electricity, charging his pitch-black silhouette. With a thunderous roar, he unleashes a fusion bolt, a spear of black lightning that tears the heavens in half. 82. the ghost archer. Decidue stands motionless in the shadows, drawing a wing that has become a bow. He breathes with the forest, invisible and silent. A single feather arrow flies without a whisper, pinning his target before the air can even move. He is the phantom sniper of the deep woods. '83. The Ozone Lord. At the edge of space, Rayquaza consumes fallen stars to fuel his evolution. Shimmering ribbons of light erupt from his jaws as he uncoils an endless emerald serpent. '84. The Illusionist. A legendary beast roars in the mist, but the image glitches and shatters. Zoroark stands in the ruins of the lie, smirking behind a curtain of crimson hair. His illusions warp reality itself, proving that the most dangerous weapon is the one you cannot believe. '85. The Shell Samurai. Samurott sits in meditation as a massive wave looms. In a flash, he draws the scimitar from his armor, severing the wall of water with a single strike. He sheathes the blade in silence as the sea collapses behind him, a master of the shell who settles the score in a heartbeat. '86. The water ninja Greninja stands in the rushing current, crushing water into a lethal high-pressure star. He hurls the shuriken with lethal precision, slicing through bamboo before vanishing into the ripples. He is the shadow of the stream, seen only when he chooses to strike. '87. The Axe Jaw. Evolution ends in a crown of blades. Haxorus stands draped in golden armor, his head flanked by serrated red axes. He cleaves through ancient trunks with a single clean chop. A biological weapon built for power and forged in the prehistoric wild. '88. The shell disciple Oshawott grips the Skalkop on his belly, focusing his will before throwing. '89. The radar fin Mudkip stands in the shallow stream, his head fin mapping every movement in the water like sonar. With an innocent stare, he suddenly shatters a boulder with a rock smash. He is a master of the currents, hiding a titan strength behind the face of a child. 90. The flame dragon Charizard unfurls his wings against the sunset, his neck lengthening as he screams at the heavens. He exhales a spiral of draconic fire that melts the very mountain peaks. He is the eternal icon of the sky, a dragon whose tail draws a golden scar across the twilight. 91. The jungle missile Mega Skeptile coils his body, his tail transforming into a high-speed serrated missile. He launches the projectile with a thunderous crack, only for a new one to regrow in an instant, He is the forest's ultimate response, a predator with endless ammunition. 92. The Black Hole. Gardevoir moves with silent grace until danger strikes. She warps the space between her palms, creating a localized singularity. The black hole swallows the threat, crushing it into nothingness. She is a guardian of the void, protecting the world with the power of the stars. 93. The blaze kick-fire jets from Blaziken's wrists as he launches 30 meters into the air. At the apex of his jump, he strikes with a blaze kick, a meteor of white-hot flame. He is the fire of the heights, a pyro kickboxer who strikes with the heat of the sun. 94. The Deathwing Eviltal spreads his wings into a massive Y, blotting out the sun. As he glides, a pulse of dark energy radiates from his feathers, turning the forest below to gray ash. 95. The Royal Snake Superior slithers with aristocratic pride, head held high above the grass. He freezes his enemies with a piercing royal glare, commanding the forest with a storm of leaves. He does not fight for territory. He simply reminds the world who its true master is. 96. The Sky Whale. Waylord breaches the surface, a biological blimp that defies gravity. He hangs in the air, drifting with a heavy, slow grace before falling back into the deep. The impact creates a tsunami that reaches for the clouds, a titan whose scale makes the ocean feel small. 97. The Globetrotter Dragonite shatters the sound barrier, a blur of orange crossing continents in a single flight. His wings move with a fury that belies his bulk, leaving a trail of vapor in his wake. He is a global guardian, flying through the storm to save those lost at sea. 98. The Origin Mew drifts through the primordial woods inside a bubble of pink energy. 99. The legendary Arcanine sprints across the plains, his mane flowing in the wind. He moves with an extreme speed that makes him look as if he is treading upon the clouds. He is the embodiment of majesty, a creature of fire and loyalty, greeting the rising sun with a roar. 100. The Simple God. In the golden glow of sunset, Bidoof finishes his dam. He slips and falls with a clumsy splash, surfacing with a vacant, happy grin. As he sits atop his work, the light turns his humble fur into a halo. In this moment, the most ordinary creature becomes divine, the beauty of the world reflected in simple eyes.